Lucky number 15. This episode dives into getting older, birthday feels, and the pressure to have life figured out by a certain age. I open up about the moment I knew I had to come out, and Amel shares how her idea of family and community is shifting. We get into cultural double standards, old school expectations, and what it really means to burn the old dream down to build a life that actually fits you. Let's get into it.
Lucky number 15. Yes, we're here. We did it.
Actually, I had to look again because I know you just mentioned like we were matching, and I just noticed almost. You're doing white, right?
This is like a very light beige. Like very,
Okay,
very light.
yeah. Mine is beige too. I
Yeah,
ruined I ruined this t-shirt when I was on my trip in Egypt. So the bus that we were riding on had like those curtains that has that little, again, I don't even know what's called in English. I just know it's called shlich shlach in Arabic. Correct me. That thing. So it kept getting actually stuck on my shirt. So the back of it, like I need to fix it. You can't see it now, but like if I turn back, I had areas where like actually like little strings are coming out of it. But I just love this shirt so much. So I'm like, I'm just gonna wear the front and no one cares about the back. But here we are.
like burn off the little strings.
I don't know. I honestly haven't even gotten to like look into it. I
I think that's
wonder.
the trick. I think like when there's loose strings or something, you can like burn them and they'll just burn up to the shirt and stop. But Google it first. I mean, search it up first so you don't burn your shirt.
My mom used to use like a razor, like a
Yeah.
regular razor, and just like shave it.
I think that's for the lint.
That's true. That's true. I don't know if that would work for this. We'll
Yeah.
see. I don't know. But anyway, beige. I love this shirt.
Age. Yeah, I was getting a little upset because we haven't matched in a couple of weeks. So it's nice that we did this again.
The universe brought us back together.
There we are. There we are.
I missed you this weekend. What did you do?
I'm sick of your face this weekend. So this weekend we had your
Your
partner's.
birthday?
Yeah, I was gonna say his name, and I'm like, wait, my birthday, your husband's birthday party, and then my surprise party, which was really, really nice.
How was it? How is it for you getting older one more year?
Allah yila'an. So I feel like I should just like start taking clips from my therapy sessions with my actual therapist because I was like, I'm trying not to be upset about aging, because I think I'm aging very well, alhamdulillah, or mashallah. And I also have a very youthful energy. I carry myself like a child sometimes. And so it wasn't depressing me at all. But like a couple of years ago, I was in a play and the person who was in the play with me was another Arab woman, and she was a little older than me. And I remember we were talking one day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm blah 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 age," and she was like, "Why did you just tell me your age?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "You didn't need to tell me your age." And I was like, "What is the problem?" And she was like, "If I were casting you, I would cast you between 20 and 30. Now you're telling me your age. Now you're going to be out of my mind for those things." And she's not a casting director, but she's dropping game about how the industry works. And she said it's extremely sexist, the acting industry. And she was like, so if somebody is like, and they're not allowed to ask you your age when they audition you for stuff. So when your
Uh-huh.
agent submits you, they say, can play X age to X age. And so when she was like, I was like, but I'm okay with I don't care. Like, I feel young, I act young, I look young, like, who cares? And she was like, other people care. I know you don't care, but other people care. And that planted the seed in my head that I was talking to my therapist about. And I was like, I'm starting to care and I don't want to fucking care. So that's what I was battling. But then I
What
even
do
it
you
out.
what do you care about though?
I think again, like when I really sit and like write about it or talk to the therapist about it, I'm like, this is so stupid because really the care comes to what will they think, which is the one thing that I've been fighting since like my mom died. I've been like,
Who
I don't
is
care.
they?
They, society, like people,
Oh,
what will people think? Or like, do I think I'm kidding myself? Like maybe people think I'm stupid. Maybe people think like I've amounted to nothing. Maybe like people think it's so foolish that she's in a play and she's whatever years old and like she hasn't made it yet. And all of these like self-imposed criticisms that start to add up with like, how successful are you at this age? And what will society especially do with women after a certain age? And it's like terrifying to think about. And I continue to try to stand firm in like, F all that. I know who I am. I know what I offer. And I know that these are societal structures that are not spiritual, right? They are made by us and they can be deconstructed by us. But it doesn't mean it doesn't have a pull. It doesn't mean that consistent feedback from like media and your industry and everything around you doesn't have an impact.
That
Super
reminds
depressing,
me,
I know.
it's not depressing. I think it's you're still going through that phase of caring, and I can't relate to that because I think I don't know, I'm just like aging. I don't care. I just it is what it is. The only thing I do care about though is um I was like at a place where like, okay, I don't want to like lose my hair, so I'm considering like hair transplant. I would say my beard is much grayer. This is dyed. I've never dyed my beard. I just started this year. And it wasn't because of the white, because I do like it. The only weird is that if I got to a phase where like when the white started to come out, I have way more whites over here than here. And then it looks like as if I just like trimmed it by mistake, like shorter, like it's just like looked uneven because it was like black here, but it's like whiter here. It was weird. So I started to like dye this side and then dye this side, and now kind of like dye this side, whatever. But anyway, my goal is to get to a place where like I just want to get over like this. I always had it my whole life, like all those like wrinkles on the front hand.
Yeah.
Part of me is just like, "Ah, you know what? Like people know I'm turning 35 soon. I'm just whatever it is, what it is. Maybe because I'm married? Do you think that's it?
For sure, I think part of it is like I'm not married. So a lot of it plays into I haven't amounted to society's requirements by this age.
So on that, the reason I'm asking on that, I was just listening to a podcast this morning. Do you remember Parvati Shallow that I mentioned early on one of the episodes on Survivor? She's the one who actually got the group of women, voted all the men out. She was portrayed as this like evil character because like she was able to outsmart all the men. Long story short, there was a podcast today. She's coming out with her book. It's autobiography about her whole story. And one of the important things that I thought it's interesting. She mentioned about marriage. She said she was so obsessed about getting married and having kid and have like the Christmas party and like that all of that. And she said in 2020 during COVID time, she was at a point where like this marriage is not working for me. Like she has a kid already with him, and she's like, I need to get out of that marriage. And he was diagnosed with cancer. So she had to battle staying true to her soul or put him first. And she kept going back and forth for months. Like, do I stick with him? What would the family think? Did I just leave him because he got cancer or the society thing? But I'm already not happy. And then what she said is she had to kill that marriage dream so that she can move on with her life. And she actually ended up moving out, filing for divorce, even when he was going through therapy. His family, like, now don't talk to her at all. But I just thought that was really interesting that it took her like all this time. Like, I think she's like now almost 40. And that happened like 4 or 5 years ago. But she was so obsessing about the idea of getting married, but it wasn't until like she killed that dream. Now she's like divorced, single mom, and then she's dating and going out and doing her thing, but she's just like more free of like whatever happens, happens. Whatever come to my life comes to my life. But I do think that there's this pressure of society that sometimes people has to go through it and then maybe survive it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. Then eventually like have to kill that expectation to be able to move on.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think, like, speaking for women like me, right? I can flourish as a single person. I have
Uh-huh.
flourished. I do flourish. And I'd be kidding myself if I say, like, I don't want a family unit. What is shifting and what can change is, what does a family unit look like?
Mm.
Does it have to be me with a guy and kids? Or could it be me and some friends buying a house together and having a community? because at the end of the day, that's what I'm missing, is the home that I don't have anymore. Like, just being out here by yourself as a single adult is really freaking hard. From financial to spiritual to, like, you're supposed to get like 12 hugs a day. Well, I'm gonna sit here and hug myself all day long. Like, I know at some point it's not someone else hugging me. You need to co-regulate.
Mm,
So I do think that, like, what can shift is what community looks like. And for us right now, again, with that societal impact, it's always been relationship, marriage, kids, and we're kind of unlearning that. So
mm.
I'm open to it being, again, I'm obviously in a relationship now. If it gets to marriage, great. And cool, then I'll have that version of it. But if this one doesn't work out, then I think I'm going to continue to flourish as a single person and, like, look for that community aspect and just focus on, I don't really know, focus on what, because I don't really know. Like, it's okay. It's okay, Habibi. I don't
It's
know.
okay.
It's hard. Birthdays are hard. You get birthday blues. Society is trash. There's an active genocide. Like, everything that we want to just be a simple, like, I want to walk on God's green earth and just feel like one with nature and just kind of like have peace, is either I'm going to stop myself from doing it because of, again, the ideas that I allow society to put into me, or the world that we live in is gonna poke at that piece all day long. So it's work. It's just work, and I'm a work in progress.
Do you feel that you have found community here in Tampa? I mean, I know you have friends. I know you do hang out with them, but do you feel it? Do you feel it more than Jersey?
So in Jersey, I have my son's inner circle. If I need something, like, that's who I'm gonna call before my Tampa people, right? My Tampa people, though, provided something that I didn't have in Jersey. I consider myself like a lone wolf that tends to hang out in a lot of people's wolf packs. So I get invited to a lot of different people's events and stuff, but I never had like the same 10 people. We hang out, we do things, and Tampa has been a huge gift because I do have that. Like, I do have this, like, just like fuck around community, and it's really fun, and it's, again, like, provides so much energy and just a home base, and I do love these people. Not like, again, my A1s that I've known since I was, whatever, a child, but it offers a whole different sense of community and belonging, especially being that the majority of them are Arab. And that is something that I had also been missing in New Jersey. So I do think the Tampa community is a gift from God,
No.
legitimately. Yeah, including you, obviously. You were one of the gifts from Tampa. But yeah, you're a lone wolf group situation, so I hang out with you. But anyway, yeah, so I do feel that very, very much. And even, like, as you know, like, even before I got in this relationship, I felt fully fine being in this community. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, I need a man, I need a guy in my life. I felt like I'm out in these streets, respectfully. Um, and enjoying my life.
I do think that's probably part of being older too. It's harder to make the same relationship when you're a kid. When you're a kid, the relationships are deeper and you grow together, the same dream. It's just childhood friendships are not the same as adult friendships.
I think also, like, my New Jersey folk have seen me through like two dead parents, college graduation, high school graduation, like, living from Patterson to Clifton. Like, we went through life together. Whereas now, I know I was kind of like knocking myself in the beginning, like, I'm not successful where I want to be, but I have a fucking amazing resume. Whether you're looking at my plan A or my plan B, both look amazing. And so I have accomplished really great things regardless of age. And so anyway, I just wanted to say that, and then say that, like, the community felt better than, like, the community I got here in Tampa felt better than any, like, accomplishment I have achieved. And I think, like, when I look at this group, for example, I there's a quote from The Office where Andy says, like, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days when you were in them. And I'm the kind of person who will just nostalgically look around at everybody having fun and, like, almost cry because I'm like, this is it. Like, this is life. This is why we're
Oh,
here. And I know this gang, when I'm with them, I feel like I'm in the good old days. Yeah. So even Saturday or Sunday when we went to the beach for my birthday, right? Like you and like it was like, I don't know, 25, 30 people it felt like that came and everybody brought snacks and food and games and like if I could have that day over and over and over again, I'd just kill me tomorrow because I'd be like, I'm just too happy. Like, you
You're,
know,
this is it. I'm fine. Well, that's good. So that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, did you feel that that birthday like was fulfilling? And it sounds like it was for
it was
you.
one of the best birthdays I've ever had. I had a surprise
Yeah.
party. I've never had that before, like never been surprised before. That's my Jersey friends. Well, it was my boo that did the surprise, so I can't even credit friends. But anyway, F all the ex-boyfriends who didn't do shit. But yeah, so my first surprise, and then it was the first time, like I said, or not the first time, but it was another time that I got to be around like so many people just playing games, which is my spirit is like I'm again a grown ass kid, and that's all I want to do. You were there. We played like football and beach games all day.
I'm not a football person. That was a lot of fun. Like, I don't even know, but I mean, I can get a little too competitive. But
Oh,
yeah, I
your
just
mom
didn't.
was my favorite. She kept trying to fake everybody out, like trying to throw the other way. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, we're just playing
I'm
catch.
telling you, this, I think I got it from her. I see it. Like, she tries to act like she's all like, I just want everything to be fair. And like, no, she's a blindsider. Like she would be, I don't know. I don't know. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was not expecting that. My favorite thing is about like your sister and niece when I was like, your mom has friends, and she's like, hey, you, don't talk to me about my mom. I was like, oh, okay.
What I appreciate about that too is like I see my niece as like super shy, like she's 11, right? So I see her super shy and I have to protect her and I have to whatever. And we're standing in that circle and like she didn't miss a beat to tell you like don't talk shit about my mom. And like I was so shocked. Like I'm so proud of you.
I was so proud of her. I was like, okay, I guess she does have friends. Like you are her friend. But no, I love that. I love that. She's amazing. I didn't get the impression that she's shy. Maybe she's just more introvert, or maybe she's at that age where she's just trying to figure herself out. But like around everyone, she was just like playing and all out.
You know what I'm realizing is like I didn't ever have her in front of a big group like that before. I've only seen her interact with her friends, and when she's in front of her friends, she flourishes. But normally when I'm with her, it's me and her, or her and like two adults, for example. So she will just be like a little quiet, a little introvert, and I'm thinking that's who she is, and I realize like, oh no, this girl's a beast. Like maybe she doesn't need to be. I'll still fight everybody for her, but like she doesn't need it. And that was
Yeah,
nice to see.
I don't think she needs it. I mean, all three of you and your sister and her, like all three of you guys, you're very similar. It's just crazy how your character, like there's a fight in you, and even like your niece, like I don't know where that. I mean, I assume like maybe you and your sister because of like the culture, the background, the history with Palestine, like the whole situation just creates you have no choice but be a fighter. But like for her too, I don't know if it's in the genes at this point, but like. It's very similar.
I mean, her mom is definitely like not to be messed with.
I could tell.
Not to be messed with. And so I think she definitely has like a super tough, like not afraid of confrontation kind of mother. So yeah, like when you start battling that person back, you kind of have a backbone. And then yeah, like, my sister already started teaching her like to look at the news, to look at what's happening with Palestine, to boycott. And like she'll be the one that like I'll be like, oh, like what do you want to eat? And she'll be like, oh, well, that's on the boycott list. Like that's on the and we were buying makeup one day and she was like, boycott, boycott, boycott. I was like, I'm kind of annoyed with you standing here. Like, I cannot buy anything. But
You're
like,
fact checking me.
yeah, but I'm really proud of the character that she's developing and how my sister is raising her.
Yeah, I just love that. Right. Couple of different things. One of it, we want to talk about that video because I know we talked about it. It was going viral. I just checked today. It's like 100K. My OCD is like, please, anyone stop watching it because I can't see the number moving over 100K, either 100K or 200K at this point. I wanted to stay still at like zero zeros. But do we want to start including kind of like fun facts or something like that? Because I thought that was interesting. People like it. It's fun for both of us. What do you think?
I think so. I think a gem like that is something that, like we said, it checked every box. It was a point of pride. It was something that a lot of people didn't know, and it was kind of fascinating. Something everyone knew. It's literally universal. And it also is a point of contention. Like it creates drama because people don't want to admit that, Arab have done anything for the world. So I don't know how often we're going to find a gem of a fact that goes across all of those, but we sure as fuck could try. That was fun.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. We should do that. Try to at least get one every week, and we can rotate it. Like 1 week I'll come up with something, maybe you'll come up with something or something like that. And if we don't, we don't. It's fine, but that'd be
I might
interesting.
have one this week that blew my mind. It's not going to fit all four categories, and I have to fact check it. But my boo boo told me that Christopher Columbus actually, so how he was here on behalf of Spain or whatever, like looking for the New World. When he went back to Spain, they actually arrested him for like his crimes against humanity. So here in America, we celebrate this man. Meanwhile, when he went back home, they were like, "Get your ass in prison! Like you cannot treat people like that."
For
We have
what
to
they did here?
for what he did here, for how he acted here.
Okay. Wow,
So
wait,
I
we
have
need
to
to
fact
let's
check that.
try.
Yeah, go ahead. You fact
Yeah.
check that because it's gonna take me 3 weeks in a day when you're just gonna talk to chat right now.
That is crazy. Well, actually, that brings us, yes, he was arrested and returned to Spain in chains in 1500s due to a series of reported abuses and mismanagement during his governorship of the Spain colonies in the New World. Wow.
Ain't that some shit?
That brings us to talk about that video that I shared today, back like in the 70s. Do you remember that videos about this guy who's like trying like it was some kind of like game show that little girls, what, 12 to 15 that they're
They looked
on?
younger than that. No, this chick looked like she was 10 less.
How is that? Okay, so this is what, okay, two things. Obviously, a little background. Need to look up that show. What was the name of the show?
I have no idea, but it reminds me of like kids say the darndest things, kind of like where I think it was Bill Cosby was the host of that one, and then they just interview kids. Was it Bill Cosby? I don't know. I had a few different hosts.
Extra, well, the point was to talk about like Generation X. Fergie Ulver's show aired from 1980s to 1985. The kids on that stage were 7 to 12 years old, so mostly Gen X right now.
Okay.
So this fucking dude, Fergie Ulver, whatever the fuck that is, had a show. There was this little clip. The show is about having this little girl, 7 to 12 years old, on the show. I don't know what the purpose of it. They have to win something, compete on something. And the whole time he's harassing them. Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? And even no, he still try to attempt to kiss or still kiss them or disgusting. However, I watched that and then I took a step back and I was just like looking, I was just like this whole world of the West. I was raised to be told that I am behind. They're already so progressed. But it wasn't that long ago. I'm talking me coming from the Middle East. Not long ago, it shit was on national TV. At least in the Middle East, that's not even thing on national TV. I've never heard of like kissing even is still perceived as awkward or weird, socially even like out in public. And then you have someone just so normalizing pedophilia or just harassment for like little girls, like that is so weird. But it's crazy to think that I have someone here sitting down, like I'm just linking everything up together because I live in a world where like somebody's judging me for like speaking out for Palestine because they don't have gay rights over there, and like okay, we're having gay rights here, yet not long ago, we're talking like 50 years ago, all this shit was happening in the US. Between this kind of show, we're talking about slavery, we're talking women didn't have right to vote, they couldn't dress a certain way, they couldn't act a certain way, blacks were not allowed to even use the same bathrooms. Like the whole thing was so fucked up. We're not talking 700 years ago, we're talking literally within the last 100 years. And then you have the audacity to come and tell me, while I'm just coming out of fucking civil war, that I am not up to speed with what's happening in the world and we're behind and we're savages or there's no gay rights. While you have people in Gaza fucking starving to death now. Who has time to fucking think about gay pride at this point? So, anyway, that video took me to that because it's aggravating to me when I hear that we're always behind and seeing that the West wasn't that far behind, and even worse in areas. That's my
Think
spiel.
no, that's a good spiel.
I had to fact check who are the countries with the highest child sexual abuse, and South Africa reports indicate that up to 50% of South African children may experience abuse before the age of 18. Half. This was crazy. So it was number one, South Africa, two, Nigeria, three, India, four, United States, five, Australia, six, United Kingdom, and so on.
Amazing.
Anyway,
But
um,
wait. Were any Arab countries in the top five?
not even top 10.
Just needed to repeat that for the people in the back.
Which is what we're exactly talking. And again, I am not trying to just defend blindly, because there's so much shit in our Arab countries that I hated, that triggered me, that made me want to go and live somewhere else. But I just wanted to point out each country has their own shit, their own history, and their own ways. And no one should be talking as if they're better than others, because everybody's history is garbage. We as humans just have that. And the fact when I see videos like this today, to go back and think like you're trying to speak like talk down to me about human rights, or you think you're better because like you just got it figured out, or whatever the case might be. No, you don't. The only difference is that you have rules and technology in place where you can kill massive amounts of people faster than back in the days. You have to kill them with like a sword, or whatever the case might have been. Um, which could bring us a different conversation about AI, but let's not go there. That video just triggered me. It triggered me, one, for aspect of like living in that time, and two, actually explains a lot about that Gen X. You have this whole generation that grew up normalizing this type of behavior for them, especially women at a very, really young age. You're watching it on TV. Like even us watching it, what, 40 years later, and we're like, what? This was like but back
And that little
then,
girl kept saying no. Just for context, he was asking this little girl like, "Oh, can I kiss you?" Right, as a game show host. Like, first of all, he didn't ask the little boy if he could kiss him. He just kissed him. Then the other little girl, I think he kissed. I don't remember. And then the third one, he was like, "Can I kiss you?" She said no. And then he said, "Are you sure I can't kiss you?" No. And then in the end, like she said no 3 different times. A little girl said no 3 different times. And then in the end, he tried to steal a kiss anyway, and she moved back. Like, I was so uncomfortable watching that clip. Anyway, carry
yeah,
on. I wanted to provide that full context of how disgusting that clip was.
yeah, no, that this is pretty much it. But I just thought that it was interesting to just see how it was, and this wasn't a long time ago, and having someone come and lecture me about what it should be and shouldn't be. Hey, I'm not saying I would like our Middle East to not be homophobic. I would like to be less sexism. I would like to have more rules and rights and whatnot. I was born 1990. We were just coming out of Civil War. When was the last war that the US had to deal with? Like World
Time.
War II?
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's like over maybe 100 years ago at this point, almost.
Well, no,
Um,
we've been in countless wars. Like, what do you mean by war?
I'm talking about like the Middle East. The reason why there's areas in the Middle East we haven't been able to move on and progress and focus on human rights and those type of stuff is because we were just trying to survive. We're
Oh
coming
yeah,
out of actual wars on our land. You're telling me Palestine has been occupied for what, over 75, 80 years at this point, and you're gonna think their most important topic is about if gays have rights there? They don't have rights to eat. They don't have right to their water. What the fuck are you even talking
they
about?
don't have
Like,
rights to collect their rainwater. It is illegal for Palestinians to collect rainwater while Israel siphons all of the natural resources for the settlements and for the Israeli citizens. Yes, 100% disgusting. And you're right. That we consistently, America will go in and destabilize like other countries. And yeah, as far as like things on our shores, we don't have anything that destabilizes the people on our land.
no,
Um, and so, yeah, the Middle East and the global South are consistently dealing with like third party militias or just, all the shit um, that doesn't allow them to move forward. And even if, right, and I really feel strongly about this, even if they decide that their way of life is XYZ, then that's their way of life, right? Like, it may suck. Hopefully, if those who don't, who, you know, I don't know, who don't fit in can get away. It's not a situation where you like are stuck in a situation where you get killed for who you are. But I think what I'm thinking of very specifically is when the World Cup was being hosted in Saudi, Qatar, when the World Cup was being hosted in the Middle East, um, everybody was like, how dare they not allow alcohol? Like, they're ruining the game. Like, they don't allow alcohol. And it's like, this is their world. They don't drink. They gotta drink like you drink. They gotta take the poison that you take because you said so, and now they're backwards people because they don't drink like you. Don't fucking host the Olympics there then. And not only that, so then like I remember there was like this dude, it was like someone that I had like been seeing at the time, and if it wasn't for that guy who posts for Palestine, I actually don't know his name, but his Instagram was like sbieh.jpg. And then they removed it after he got.
You just remembered every single letter. Like, I would not have remembered that.
Because I'm like, what is his name? But he's, he got him like millions of followers, and then Instagram took his account down for talking too much about Palestine. But anyway, it wasn't until he put a video up, and I was like, don't let the West get in your head. Just because they're saying, like, he had to say that for that to pop in my head and go, oh yeah, like, if that's their way of life, that's their freaking way of life. Like, who are we to say you have to drink because we drink? But that obviously doesn't apply as a blanket statement, like, oh, let's behead people, or I can't believe I said that. I cannot believe I said behead people. But like, like killing people for being gay, or like all of those things, like, I don't think that should be like, oh, that's how they live, let them live. But I'm just saying America specifically has lost its standing to say that it is the like on the moral high ground and should tell other people how to live. I think that's the basis of what I'm saying.
And not just America, to be honest with you, no one likes someone coming from outside and like poking about what you have or what you don't have. You already know that. We already are struggling with it. We're trying to figure it out. I was living in Lebanon. I was so pissed off about a lot of things, how they are. I know a lot of women don't have the rights. My mom is pissed off about a lot of things. I don't need you to come and lecture me about it. I can see that there's other areas that, okay, well, you moved on. You have, like, I love that Egypt, the woman has the right to give their citizenship to their kid. I wish Lebanon is the case. Lebanon is still not the case. I aspire that Lebanon one day we can change the laws to where actually Lebanese women can give their citizenship to their kids. But I would not appreciate if Egypt came and like started to lecture me or talk down to like Lebanese. You guys are so behind. You're so whatever they might perceive it. You know what I mean?
I do.
Um, and that's the problem that I have. Even like when I'm talking to anyone over here, it's bothersome to me that you just come and like throw judgment, especially when I'm in a place where I'm just speaking the truth. I'm just trying to speak up for something that is wrong. And instead of you just having space for me and listening to what I'm not trying to say anything crazy. I'm just saying, can you please don't kill kids? Like, this is so crazy that I'm like, and then what you have to say to that is like, oh, you want to go, you're okay not killing the kids? Well, why don't you just go to Palestine and see how you like it there? They're gonna kill you. It's like, this is what you fucking had to say? Like, it's just,
You've had time to think about it. You've had days
yeah,
to reflect on this, over 500 days to reflect on this genocide, and you still come up with they don't like gays.
yeah, yeah. So, anyway, when I see videos like that, it just highlights like the hypocrisy to me because it wasn't long ago when gay marriage wasn't legalized in the US till like 2015. A lot of like, we're 2015, 10 years ago. You're not trans people still have to deal with so much shit. They are still dealing with it right now. It's not like you got it all figured it out. So you have other countries that have more rights. You want to come and talk shit about it? I mean, they are talking shit about the US, but that's exactly the same thing. So anyway, that's what that video triggered to me, and I was just sharing with you my disgust
Yeah, no, I was
of
definitely
it.
disgusted, and I do think that has ramifications. Like looking at, like you said, Gen Z. That was not Gen Z, Gen X. That was normal for them to have adults cross their boundaries in very uncomfortable ways, and I think like that affects those people that didn't, like that little girl who moved away. Like most people didn't move away. Most people didn't know you could say no to adults. And so, how did that impact the people that they then raised, and so on and so forth? I mean, thank God by the time it got to us, or at least I can speak for myself, like, even with my nieces and nephews, when they're like, say I love you, go hug your aunt. I'm like, no, no. If they don't want to hug me, they don't have, like, I'm fully like, no, no. You have full agency, 2 year old. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hug me, don't hug me. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
That's the thing that I love most about our generation because I was raised in that similar expectation where like your aunt is here, go say hi to her, hug her, and kiss her. And I picked this up within our generation. Even like now talking to my niece and nephew, regardless of like their situation, their mood for the day, I'm like, hey guys, how are you? And then go hug your uncle. It's like, no, no, it's fine. Like, do you want me to hug you or not? Do you want to give me, like, can I? And if not, I'm not offended. Aunts and uncles back in the days, they used to be extremely offended. How dare you? You're impolite, you know? It was just a whole generational thing where people felt that they're entitled, I guess, for things. Like, go get love from something else. Don't get it from a little kid.
Yeah, and that's
Anyway.
not to say that like you don't have to address the adults providing that they didn't disrespect you, abuse you, or whatever. Like you have to be respectful of your elders. That's one of the pillars of our culture. But like I don't need to touch you. Like I don't need to be made uncomfortable. Fuck out
I
of here.
don't need to hug you and kiss you as a
Yeah.
kid. I can say hello. Um, yeah, I was gonna talk about something I forgot. Oh, um, I wanted to point out something that you pointed out to me, and I thought that was interesting. We were watching a movie last night called A Nice Indian Boy, and it's a new movie that is like now coming up like on like streams. It wasn't like out in cinemas. I think it was like in specific theaters that you can only watch it. Long story short, it's like an Indian and a white dude, like two boys, they're in love with each other. The white guy is um adopted by two Indian parents, so he was like so much into Indian culture, and then he falls in love with the other Indian guy, and then the white dude's parents die who adopted him, so he's like he doesn't have a family, and now the Indian guy having to introduce him to his family. um I say that to explain what was so interesting to me watching the movie is his younger sister got married sh- to a guy, didn't have kids, but like for years it was like this expectation and da 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 da. What I really thought it was interesting when I talked to you two is I think there's a place with gay relationships that the expectation is lower than heterosexual relationship, so you give yourself more the permission to screw up, to not meet the expectation of the parents. And that's not something that is usually in heterosexual relationship. And I talk mostly for like straight men in general. Like they're still trying to please their parents, please their society. They haven't gotten to a point like a gay man who had to come out and just break that narrative. Like we're just talking, like kill that dream of I need to get married and have this beautiful family so that you can move on with your life. You just need to kill that image of like I'm the perfect boy for my family. So what was really interesting about the movie, that sister married for 4 years, she was the perfect girl. She wanted to get a divorce and she was like not because holding back because she didn't want to disappoint her family. And then when her brother brought this gay person home, the expectation of his family was so low because like he's just a gay boy. Like I'm glad that he found someone to love him. The sister was really pissed off. She was like, it must be nice that there's no expectation because for me, it was an arranged marriage. They were planning on it. They threw the whole big wedding. I was supposed to act a certain way, do the certain things, being pressured to have kids. And with you, oh, you don't want to have kids? Okay, that's fine. Oh, you don't want like you know what I mean? It was really
really, really interesting to see it play out that way because we talked about it offline, and I always frustrated with straight men who like don't know how to like maybe let go of pleasing their parents. But I understand it better now because I had to disappoint my family to just do what's best for me and my partner. And I think that's what we all should be doing. We should be, it's like Viola, one of her videos, she said, the biggest thing you should do is disappoint as many people as you can in your life so that you would never disappoint yourself. Um, that's my spiel on that.
I love that spiel, and I think it. You're right. Is that what we were talking about? Is like being gay is something that you eventually have to pop, right? Like you just can't, you cannot, right? Whereas the contradiction with all these other things that are like closeted, let's say, like we were talking about, like friends that drink but don't tell their parents or stuff like that, is like it's a much easier option to hide it. It doesn't feel crazy to hide it. It just feels like, oh, I'm hiding it for this moment. Like you start negotiating time and space, and you start justifying like how you're showing up in different places instead of just showing up as yourself. And so in a way, it was like, yeah, that was a blessing that and this is on audio is going to sound so horrible. I'm using quotations, like your gay disappointment is like the best one because you have to come out and disappoint, and then you get used to disappointing people. Whereas like for those of us that's not the thing, it's like disappointment after disappointment. Like you have to break down each wall because they're not understanding that each one of these breaks is me just saying, this is who I am. I am not who you expect me to be. I am not who you want me to be. This is who I am. And so we have to do it in like 19 million different ways across 19 million different examples so that you will understand this is how I show up in public settings, this is how I show up with my clothing, with whether I drink or not, with my job choices, with my partner choices. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for me, I do remember the exact moment when I was making the decision, like, okay, I'm gonna come out. And I remember feeling that this is it, Noel. Like, uh, as of tomorrow, you might have no family or friends in your life, and you have to start all over. I remember that clearly. I don't think straight people ever get to a place where they have to deal with something like that unless like maybe you're doing porn or drugs or something where where like they need to like your parents have to like be such a shocking and I'm not comparing
No, yeah,
homosexuality to that because
being
it's
gay
not
is equal to like catastrophic. It's like earth
like
shattering.
yes because like in straight couples I don't know what else could it be for parents to be it's this shocking that I have to disown you. I mean maybe actually in the Middle Eastern family is like if you're Muslim and you want to marry a Christian, some people still have that could be that catastrophic thing where it was just like I have to disown you. And then that man has to make the decision. I might lose my whole family and friends today. I still will win her love and I want to be there with her. And you just move forward with it. And hopefully your family will eventually see it that it's just love. Religion is just religion and then come around or not. And it is harder when like Muslim marrying Muslim, Christian marrying Christian, like culturally everything is aligning, and then yet how do you set that bound? Like where do you start coming out? You're always like one foot in, one foot out, where they're just like there's no shocking factor. Like how, what do you do? Just go sit them down and tell them like, listen, guys, not everything that you're expecting is what you think I should be doing, but what is it? Like
Oh, I
there's
have an example.
it's
I think Arab women, right? Or like I will say Arab women because that's what I am, but like I'm sure women in a lot of different cultures feel this. I'm not a virgin.
yes. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That one is like earth shattering. You've ruined all of our lives. You shamed the family. You've ruined your life. You're disgusting. They can't look at you the same. Oh yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
that's
sex
a
in
that's a
general.
very good point. I would say for Muslims maybe I drink. Like I can still be Muslim in their mind because for me, uh, people can judge me for whatever they want to judge me. I'm not religious, so that's why I have a different mindset. But for me, Bible or Quran or the Torah or whatnot. They're books and ways to get you closer to God. At the end of the day, it's your relationship with God. So like if in areas I'm just doing it to myself, I'm not hurting anyone else. I know for religion it's deeper than that. If you're hurting yourself, you're hurting the image of God, all that kind of stuff. But some people, at least in my opinion, I mean, you can still drink and be a Muslim. Like you can still believe in God and have a relationship with your God regardless. You can be not a virgin, both men and women, and still be a Muslim practicing. Now, someone else can come and judge me and say, yeah, you're sinning. Okay, good. I don't know who put you the judge here, but I, yeah, I mean, that friend of mine who is Muslim and who drinks, he had to eventually just tell his family, he was like, listen, dude, like, stop telling me don't have alcohol in the parties that I'm having, like his own family, because I drink. Like, I don't know how else to tell you. Like, I don't even practice Islam. Like, he's just not practicing. He does like fast and whatnot. There's stuff that are like there's like traditions and areas that are nostalgic for him. I do the same. I still celebrate Christmas or Easter or whatnot because nostalgic, but not because like religious. So you can't really come and tell me what to do. So we had to set that boundary. And honestly, that relationship flourished once that boundary was set.
But you
Yeah,
know,
it's
to
just hard.
backtrack, I do think like the virgin example is a really good example. However, I still don't think it comes close to the gay example. It doesn't come close. And that's just because in some families it will come close and top it or be the same. But like with being gay and coming out, I think that taps in universally as a problem way more than like not being a virgin, you know. Even in Arab families, like some families might be like, "That's okay, we understand. It's cool. It's not this big earth shattering thing." And your friend, you're not also gonna lose all your friends and all your everything. Whereas with being gay, like you said, like you have to think like tomorrow, my entire world might shift upside down, and I just wanted to honor that.
Thank you. I think it depends because if you tell your family, let's say, I'm not a virgin and I'm still gonna have sex with men my whole life, it's different when you tell them I'm not a virgin and they sit you down and have a conversation with you with the hope that you're gonna repent and like stop having sex and then find the man and settle down and da da da. Because something I could relate to that with gay is when did I did come out, a lot of family members or some of them were okay with it with me as long I end up marrying a woman and I can have my side guy. If I want to just have a friend, go hook up with whoever. People don't need to know about it, but like out. So at the end of the day, I'm hearing it. It's not about you being virgin or not, me being gay or not. It's about you as the family and your reputation and if you did a good job or not. And it's not about really your love to that kid and like what that kid wants or like what type of life they're living. Because that I could have been okay. Because the reason why I had family that I didn't talk to when I came out for 5 years is because I decided to be public. I wanted to be out. I needed to live my truth. I didn't want to just be in the closet doing it. And that's where that was the triggering point. When I first came out, they were fine. When I was posting it on social media and I'm like, no, 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 I'm gonna get engaged. I'm gonna get married. It's like, what do you mean? That was the tipping point because now it's about them having to go and face society and like what the people are gonna think about me. I would say it's the same thing probably for like if I had a sister living in Lebanon and like people know that she's just like hooking up with guys that she's dating or whatever, I might be okay as long as society doesn't know.
Wait, can
But
we
yeah.
talk about that for a second? Like, have you forgiven all of these people? Like, what are your relationships now?
It depends. I mean, without going with too much details, because I don't want to like go with names. Some has apologized, some didn't apologize, but still came back. Right now, I don't have anyone in my life that cut me off. Still not in my life. They all found their ways back. I'm talking family members. Um, but yeah, we're and then some of them I've cut them off out of my life for different reasons now. So,
I was about to ask you actually, like your word choice of they haven't cut me off. I was gonna say like, do you think you don't have the ability to? And then 5 seconds later, you're like, but some I cut off for different things. Yeah, it just brings me back to that conversation we had when we were talking about you saying that these people were like, but I'm good to you, but I'm and it's like, well, fuck you, I'm good to you. Like you're not doing me any favors by accepting me. I also accept you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Um,
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I think we all go through something that we need to come out about in our real life, and some things are easier to keep hiding, and some others are not. But to be honest with you, true happiness is only gonna like you're only gonna be able to get to true happiness when a couple get to a place where like they're just being themselves. Like I'm doing this for me and truly sit down and think about what makes sense to me and what doesn't, regardless of culture or society. And just follow your heart. Like do what makes sense for you and your partner. Because you're never gonna please everyone. Never.
what would you say? I guess if somebody was deciding whether or not to come out, like what is something that helps you decide how or when?
I would say, I mean, there's one safety. If you're living in a country that don't have laws to protect you, that's a hard one. Some people are out in countries that are there's no laws to protect you, and they're fine because their families are not aggressive. And some others, maybe families are aggressive. So I guess safety, you have to like really gauge that. Second, I would say financial. I cannot tell you how much having financial stability is important for you to be able to move on your own, because you can go make new friends, you can go get therapy, you can go get healing in whatever way that you need. You can do the self work and love that you need when you have financial stability. If you are still waiting to be living under your dad's roof and you're coming out and your dad is not understanding it, it's going to be really hard to change their mind. But once you're on your own, no one can stop you. Um, and third, I would say you just getting to a place to let go, trying to please people, and like start accepting this is my life. I'm doing this for me. I need to stop chasing after impressing and seeking love externally from somewhere. I remember like the moment for me, I was dating this guy who used to work at Disney. If he's hearing this, because I know he follows the page, I've seen it before. Um, it's I did apologize to him a couple of years later for that, because and it wasn't like he understood it wasn't my mistake, but it was still horrible. I was dating him and I was still in the closet, so I wasn't out to my family. I was still introducing him as like a friend, and then he used to work at Disney, and then he bought my mom tickets to go to Disney for 2 days. I'm talking a whole package, 4 parks at Disney, plus they were doing like the Christmas holiday party, which is like an extra ticket. The dude, that was like around like $1,000 package for like both of us. Easy. Like took us everywhere, showed us the park. Like it's a dream come true, especially for someone like my mom coming from like the Middle East. Like anybody just coming from anywhere, like Disney. Anyway, and I remember like at the end of the last day, he showed up like at the park to just like say hello, and I introduced him to my mom, and I said, you know, this is my friend X, his name. And I felt so horrible in the moment, because like that ate me alive afterwards, because I did not respect that person who poured himself out to show love to me and to my mom through me, and I didn't even have the balls to just introduce him properly and let my mom just deal with it. If she doesn't like, then don't come to fucking Disney. Like this dude is coming out of his way. But in that moment, I was like so seeking that approval from my mom that I had to put that first. Um, we did, end this relationship afterwards for a different reason, but right after that, that was the moment haunted me for a while, that I was like, I need to come out. Like I need to come out, because I don't want anything hanging over my head for my next relationship. I want to be able to go in, this is that person, and like that's it.
Mm.
And I went through it. And by the time I met my current husband, I was already out. I was dealing with it with the family, and
she didn't have to deal with that part with me. But obviously, I was in a country that I had safety protection laws. I was independent financially on my own. And I was at a place where like I was secure and like ready to be like, you know what? I remember when I told my mom I'm getting married, I literally said the words, I understand you might not be able to come to my wedding, but I want you to know if you don't come to my wedding, I can't have you in my life. And that's okay.
Oh,
And then she had a week to think about it, and then she called me and she said, I booked a ticket, I'm coming to the wedding.
mama. What was that like for you?
It was the most pouring love that I've ever felt. Like this is the true love that it's hard when your parents tells you they love you all your life, but you've been having this secret behind like holding you back and you're always wondering, but once they really know all of you, all those parts of you, especially the parts that you were taught that there's something to be ashamed of, will they love you? Will they really be there? And she did. She just loved, like, that was like this sealing approval that, no, she does really love me. Like, this relationship is true. And she wasn't clear about everything. Like, she wasn't understanding, but she tells me being there in that wedding and seeing how my husband and I, like, loved each other, she said seeing how he treats me made her see it as it's not just about sex. It's true love. It's just two humans love each other. And then she had to battle for years her religion and her beliefs about what is right, what is wrong, and then now she is where she's at, which is she told me this year, she's like, I want to go to Pride with you guys.
Oh
So
my God! That's a
yes,
full fucking circle. Oh my
yes,
God.
yes.
I
I
love
didn't even say that. She just said she's like this is the year more than any year. Like I see how they've taken your rights. We're gonna go and we're gonna be in Pride. We're making a big group. I mean cousins and family members and whatnot that decided to go. So, yeah,
MashaAllah. When is Pride?
from I think it's in June or July in St. Pete. So we're doing
Okay.
that.
I'll stop by. I don't
Yeah.
I don't like too many big crowds, but I'll at least stop by and be like, I support and then I'll leave with the crowd.
No, I get it. But yeah, full circle. From you might not be in my life to I'm gonna go to Pride with you. So
That's
anyway,
beautiful and very lucky. And I want to just kind of, just in case there's like ever somebody who's not financially stable and like you, like not an adult, is there anything we can say to them? Because like you said, like that safety, that's important. But what about when you
I
don't have it?
mean, I think there's obviously a lot of like resources out there, and like we can drop in the caption like a couple of resources that people can seek. Organization. The most important thing that scares me is suicide because you get to a point where like you'll bottle it in to a point where like you can't even anymore hold it together. What I do think though is wherever you're at, even if you're not in a country that you're feeling safe, there's still social media. Like we have internet, you can find your small communities. Like this little group that you and I found of like Arabs who are black sheeps of their families that are still dealing with it. So I think just find your little communities, and then once you're there and you can talk to people and see that you're not alone, that helps you just push through the suicide thoughts so that you can get to where you want to get, which is moving out, getting your education, being more financially stable. It's obviously easier for some people more than others because if someone is extremely feminine, you can't help it. Like people will clock you. I was not in that case, so it was a bit easier to me because I was more masculine and like I was able to, hold and push through it. So I think it's just different for people.
No, I think
But
the takeaway that I got is to remember that you're not alone and to find your tribe. Like they're out there. Like the
yeah,
world that you live in today doesn't have to be the world you live in tomorrow. So just like hold on to that.
yeah, 100%. But that's exactly the same thing that we're talking about, and I know we're on time. But even for like straight relationships, this is what I have in my relationship. I've never seen it an example before, and I know we talked about it because I didn't even see an example of like I am growing up in a generation where like we are one of the first to get married. Like getting married as like a gay couple was not even a thing. So there's no examples to look up for or relation or what the relationship would look like. So we're creating it for ourselves, but we had to literally burn all of our dreams, burn all of those relationship, the expectations and all of that, and just like this is what works for me and my partner. And now build those little communities, friends and family that are wanting to be a part of it and welcoming. So I think this is where a lot of maybe straight couples could get to, where like just burn those expectations. And I think things would get easier probably from there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to always expand it out. So I think the theme of today, from age to perceptions of society, is it's okay. It's all
It's
good.
okay. Yes, we're all trying to figure it out. Maybe the highlight is just burn those expectation and just find your truth, what makes you happy, the partner that, completes your puzzle, and just move on.
Love that. This was a good one. This was a deep one. I'm gonna have to journal about this. Okay, I love you so much,
I
Noel.
love
Bye.
you too. Bye.
Episode 15 done.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please consider leaving a comment and a review. It helps us improve and reach more people.
We're all just trying to figure it out one conversation at a time. So go easy on yourself, trust the process, and remember, it's okay, Habibi.